welcome to About You. I'm Connie Hogan. Well, my guest today could not be more appropriate for the times we're in with the ongoing pandemic and all the mental health and behavioral health issues that have taken center stage. Lenora Hardy-Foster is the president and CEO of the Judson Center, an organization that's well known in our community for behavioral health issues, servicing the needs of people with disabilities, autism, and also in adoption and foster care services. Lenora has been around this business, she's not going to want me to say this, 40 years, has a great passion for our community and just like knows everybody. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, we were classmates in Leadership Detroit. Lenora, I won't say how many years ago, we already talked about that, but we are really looking forward to hearing all about the Judson Center. Welcome, Lenora.
Connie, thank you so much. I'm so delighted to have this opportunity. And you're right, we won't go back on which year
it was, but it was the best year.
We were the best.
We were the
best class.
Yeah, the very best. And in fact,
absolutely.
we had, I wanted to say, so many big names in that class.
Yes,
remember?
we did.
We really did, for sure.
Yes.
So, Lenora, we were talking, you said, tell us a little bit about your personal life, where you're from. You've been around Detroit for a long time, so you're very much part of this landscape.
Oh, yes.
But you're from Selma.
I am.
Tell us about that.
I was born and raised in Selma, Alabama. Mm-hmm. So I am a Southern girl.
You are, yes. Southern Belle. Yes,
yes, I'm Southern Belle.
Me too.
Oh, you are too, right?
Yeah, but Atlanta, but yes, still.
Okay.
Not too far.
Or neighbors, so. Neighbors, not far at all.
That's
3
right.
hours apart.
Oh, is that? Okay.
That's it. That's all. 3-hour drive. And I am so proud of my heritage and where I'm from. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was, I have had a total of 7 siblings, so it was 8 of us. I came from a loving family with a mom and dad at home with us all of the time. And they both just instilled so much in me that it really helped me determine in life what I wanted to be. And so as my siblings were graduating, you know, they were moving north and they were moving to the Detroit area because we have family here.
Okay.
So one of the things I thought about was, I want to move to Detroit when I graduate, but at the same time, I had this dream of wanting to work for Ford headquarters.
Oh, that struck a thing with me, because I was with Ford for a while, too, if you can believe that.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Well, that was my goal. As I was growing up, I wanted to work there, and when I moved here, I would drive down Michigan Avenue, and I would look up and say, I want to work at Ford's, but I want to be up at the top.
Oh, and right.
It was a desire I had because I wanted to be a part of corporate America.
Mm-hmm. And Ford's such a good company. I mean, even though I was with GM longer, but
yes. And
I love Ford. Though.
Why Ford? I don't know. I knew nothing about Ford. You know, General Motors or Chrysler. I didn't know anything about them, but it was just Ford. And my father did have a Ford truck, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. I knew the name. But that was my desire and my goal at what it is and what I thought I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. So coming from that loving family and moving here, and I started school at University of Detroit.
Okay.
And so, matter of fact, that's where I received my undergraduate degree in business.
Okay.
And I continued and to move forward at U of D, and which is now University of Detroit Mercy, so UDM. Mm-hmm. And I received my graduate degree, my MBA.
Okay.
So I am so proud of where I am today, and really something that really makes me proud. That's where I graduated from, right? Mm-hmm. Well, now I serve on the board of the business school.
You are on more boards than, like I said in the intro, you touch a little bit of every aspect of our little maze here.
I serve on the board for the business college.
Oh, okay.
And then something else. When you graduate from college and they don't forget you, that says a lot. 3 years ago, I was presented a Lifetime Achievement Award from the University of Detroit Mercy.
That's awesome. See, I think Notre Dame's forgot all about me.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, but that's okay. I haven't forgot them, though.
But I was so excited, but when I thought about it, Lifetime Achievement is like,
that's like, uh-oh,
it's like,
we don't like that.
Is this the end?
Right. Yeah.
But I'm happy about that.
Of course, yes.
So then when I think about it, coming here and going to school, and I started working for this nonprofit organization, Southwest Detroit Community Mental Health Services. Oh. Long name. Years ago, I started there in 1980.
Oh, wow. That's crazy, isn't it?
1980. And the reason they probably even hired me is, you know, here I am going to school, and they hired me to work in their accounting department, because when I was in high school in Selma, Alabama, I was a part of a business co-op. And I started working when I was in the 10th grade.
Oh, wow, that's
for
good.
Federal government program, Farmers Home Administration.
Okay.
And I started learning more about accounting. I was processing loans for low-income individuals. Not knowing that this was going to follow me throughout my career, but it opened the door.
That was probably a great entry. Yeah.
Yes, it was, because I had a little accounting experience. And so that's the reason this nonprofit, you know, decided to give me that opportunity. And I started working there, but my goal was Ford, right?
Ford Accounting, and I worked in Ford Accounting. That's when I said that we have that in common.
We got that in common.
Yeah.
And so I started working for Southwest, and what I realized, and a lot of times, what we don't know is when you think back on your life and how you were raised and the things that you've been a part of. You know, I was raised from a family, so I was in church every week. You know, I couldn't say yes or no. I was going to be there, you know, at church on Wednesdays and on Sundays.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it's about, and even when I think about it, it's what you're doing for people. And people need that support. So working for this nonprofit, I realized what my purpose in life was.
Yeah, that was more appropriate, more interesting, exciting than accounting, though,
Yes.
regardless of where the accounting is.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yes. We were doing things to make a difference in the lives of children and families.
Right.
And that touched me. And I said, this is my passion, and this is my purpose. And I decided to invest my life working with nonprofits.
Now, did that become Southwest Solutions?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We changed the names. A few years went by, and as we continued to grow and our branding was out there, we wanted to make sure we could brand ourselves better, because Southwest Solutions is a great organization.
It is. I was going to ask, because when we were talking earlier, and we'll talk about this offline, otherwise we'll be here all day, but Fern Espino, who you would know.
Absolutely.
Fern is a very good friend of mine, and she was board president, and then I succeeded her as board president in IBC Detroit. But that's a whole long story.
Yes.
But
she's
you know
outstanding.
Fern.
I
Is
do
she
know
still
her.
involved there? Or?
She's not still on the board. She was on the board.
She was on the board, yes.
For a number of years.
Long
she was on the
time.
board. That's when I first met her. Outstanding young lady.
She is. And she'd love you for saying young lady.
I know.
She owes you.
Are. That's right.
That's what we're all young ladies.
We all
Even though
are young
we started in 1980.
That's right.
Right.
We're still young ladies.
We're still. So that is such a great story, though. And I think what you getting out of accounting, as wonderful as accounting is,
Yes.
I mean, it's just a different, because it took me I was in accounting at Ford and then GM, but then by fluke, with I'll just say Debbie Dingle, I wound up going into more of the lobbying, and then hence the General Motors Foundation.
Oh.
So I thought we had this little saying, we died and gone to heaven. When we left no offense, GM Finance left, but it's just a different ball game.
Oh, yes.
And to be in something that's so wonderful, and being in this network of people we were talking earlier, it's just and Detroit has a wonderful network, and you're a great example of that, of the nonprofit executives and nonprofit people who make things happen every day.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. And you know, there has to be something within you with doing that kind of work.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got to have that passion and that drive. And so that's the reason I've invested over 40 years of
That's amazing. And plus, you're working 24/7. I mean, you're not really. It goes with you, right?
It does.
You're on call all the time, and you know, it's in the events. I don't know about you, but we used to be. Oh my God, it was like morning, noon, and night. It was like we didn't have to buy groceries because it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner out, and sometimes nice stuff too.
We still do a lot of that.
Well, you do a lot of that,
Yes.
especially the Judson Center is huge.
Absolutely. And so with my career at Southwest Solutions, you know, I'm one of those that's very career oriented, and I like to plan out where I see myself and where I want to be. And so I continued to just move up, starting out as an accounts manager. And when I left there, after being there for 36 years, I was executive director of Southwest Solutions Administrative Services Organization.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't remember seeing that. That's awesome. So you were there for 36 years.
36 years.
Oh, wow. I missed that part. Okay.
36 years. And majority of those years, I worked up under John Van Camp.
Who I know a little bit. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the greatest visionary leaders that I've ever met. I learned so much up under his leadership. Probably one of the greatest strategic thinkers. Not just thinking where you are today, but where you can be 5-10 years.
Oh,
and so a lot of
awesome,
those things are instilled in me today, and I have been able to take those skills and things that I've learned on to what I'm doing at the Judson Center.
So he was your mentor, kind of.
He was my
Now,
mentor.
Did he pass away?
No.
Okay.
He retired.
He retired.
In 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was recent, yeah.
It was recent, I think around 2018, and he relocated to Florida.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay, maybe that's why I thought Florida.
Yes,
Right,
yes, he's in
I
Florida.
knew he was gone, yes.
Yeah, he is, but
Awesome.
he's still here with us.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So you also, you've done a program at Harvard, so you're considered a Harvard grad too.
Yes,
so let's throw
I
that in there.
am.
Might as well throw that in there,
I
right?
am. I was so excited about that opportunity.
So that was more recent though.
That would have been in 2018 as well.
So very,
Yeah,
so,
about 3
okay.
years ago.
So you've been leading the Judson Center then for how long?
It will be 6 years this coming March, right
Okay.
around the first part of March.
Okay.
Will be 6 years.
So it was founded in 1924 by Baptist ministers.
My Baptist minister.
So tell us a little bit about that part of Judson Center and how it's gone from there to here,
Yes.
where we are, and then we'll talk about the program.
Okay, so in 1924 is when Judson Center was incorporated, but back then the name of the organization was the Detroit Baptist Home for Children.
Oh, wow.
Because it was a group of Baptist ministers that had this vision of really wanting to start a program for orphanage boys and girls. And we remain true to that to this day.
Oh,
we
yeah,
are
that's
one of
why,
the larger foster care adoption agencies in the state of Michigan. Yes, so that's how we first opened the door, 1924, right in Royal Oak. So we operated out of Oakland County, Royal Oak, the corner of Greenfield and 13 Mile. We're still
I
there.
remember. That's what I thought.
We're still there to this day. That is the largest campus that we do have. And so when I think about over those, so it's been 98 years.
Oh, my God.
98 years that we've been in business. And not to say that a nonprofit cannot sustain themselves for that longevity, because they can. It's having that mission and that vision and that drive that is really going to determine your destiny and where you're going to be. And so when I think about Judson Center and the things that impressed me, even when I went through the interviewing process, I had to learn. I knew of Judson Center, but I did not know Judson Center. I knew they specialize in children's services. But when I started doing my research, I was so impressed. So opening the doors 98 years ago, compared to where we are today, we started in one county. I have 10 offices over 5 counties today.
Oh, my gosh.
So not just in Oakland County.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're in Washtenaw. So we're in Macomb. We're in Genesee. And we're in Wayne.
Wayne, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And so we continued probably for about 60 years from the time that we started the organization. We continued to operate up under the name of the Detroit Baptist Home for Children. But in 1984, 60 years later, we changed the name to Judson Center.
Wow.
Now, one of those Baptist ministers' last name was Judson.
Oh, I figured there was something like that.
So that's
well,
the
that's,
connection.
in a way it's good because the Judson, frankly, I didn't know either, and I would drive by that because I know exactly where it is.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that was, in fact, just probably fairly recently did I, learn that it was so all-encompassing and in so many different things.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then in the mid 80s, we started expanding into other services. So one of the first other core program areas was disabilities. Working with participants that are disabled. And disability could be someone who is in a wheelchair. It could be someone who's diagnosed with a mental illness. So it could be someone who's a young adult with autism. But we started disabilities program with our goal was to make sure that individuals would have an opportunity to become an employee.
Oh,
so
okay.
we work with employers to help secure them with a job.
Okay, matching them together.
Matching them, yes. And so we have job developers, job coaches that work with them and provide soft skills trainings, get them ready. And today, where we've advanced, which is so wonderful in the state of Michigan, is that our participants now are being hired directly by the employer.
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
And that's one of the greatest things. So
That's amazing.
It really is. You know, so we have Myers, we have fitness centers, we have Kroger's. So we have these businesses out there that really recognize, you know, the work that we're doing and other nonprofits are doing, and they have stepped up to the plate, and they're assisting and providing this opportunity to people that have those kind of disabilities.
Now, are you guys funded, can I ask you, United Way at all? Or
Yes, we do receive.
You're part of United Way.
We receive funding, yes, we receive
And
grants.
the government, or the federal government?
Oh, yes,
That's
federal
okay.
government.
Awesome.
Matter of fact, as we continued over the years, probably one of the greatest things that I'm so proud of today is back in 2020, we were designated as a CCBHC, a Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinic.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we are one of, it's right around about 30 now in the state of Michigan.
Wow,
And
so you're big time.
Yeah, we
with
really,
that. Yeah.
yes. And our very own Senator Debbie Stabenow was instrumental
I'm sure, yes.
in getting that bill passed through Congress back in 2016. So we're very fortunate to
That's awesome.
receive that additional funding that helps us to continue to grow and expand our integrated care program, which includes behavioral health, primary health care, and substance use disorder.
Now, you want to talk a little bit about how it's, been so evolving during the pandemic and how it's kind of changed, I assume,
Yes.
a lot of the stuff that you've been doing day to day, I imagine.
So with the pandemic, all of us we heard about it, right? Out of the in other countries, right?
Yeah.
And never really knew exactly if it was going to impact us, and if it did, what would it mean, and how would we respond to it? We were not ready when it started, but we could not afford to sit around and say we got to develop instructions and a guideline. We had to respond right away. So I'm so proud of my executive leadership team and my board. I have one of the greatest board of trustees that's around that dedicates their time to nonprofit.
I have to look at that. Yeah.
Oh, they're outstanding. But we immediately said we got to do something, because how we're going to continue to provide services.
Right.
There are clients that are part of our behavioral health program. There are the participants in the disabilities program. Well, we had to shut that one down right away because their work is face-to-face, and we couldn't do that.
Oh,
so
okay.
that was a
Makes sense,
program.
yeah.
We had to shut it down for a while.
Wow.
But even when we shut down things, one of the things I feel good about is we made sure that we took care of our employees. That was extremely important. But the autism program was the biggest challenge that we did have was with autism. Autism today, which we started autism back in 2005 when there was no funding for autism. And I admire Judson Center because they saw a need for children and they reached out. And funding became available in 2012. But autism is our largest program today.
Oh, you're kidding.
We're almost $31 million in annual operating revenues, and autism represents 40%.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
So they're over $12 million annually. The second largest program that we have is our foster
That's
care,
what I thought, yeah. right.
adoption, mentoring, and preservation programs. They represent about 36%. So autism
wow.
revenues is
So it's flipped a little bit.
It's flipped.
Yeah.
Those two
That's
flipped.
crazy, yeah.
Yes. And autism revenue is mostly from Medicaid reimbursements and commercial insurance.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
And there's
Wow.
also private pay or co-pays.
That's amazing.
Yes. And then foster care is state funded.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Is
so
it?
those would be
Totally,
grants
okay.
that we have with the state, and we bill and they reimburse us.
Now, talk a little bit about, since 2018, your Bridges to Success.
Yes, we're so proud of that program. It has really taken off. We put that program in place because when you think about young adults with autism, and so as we've been providing services from the time that maybe they were a young child, all through being a youth, and then taking a look at them now being a young adult. They're approaching the age of 17, 18. Are they prepared you know, to be able to do things independently.
Wow.
So Bridges to Success allows us to start a program with young teenagers, age 13, 14 through 17, to make sure that we can provide soft skills training. We could train them. So we have a program that's set up. We can train them how to make up a bed. We could train them how to grocery shop, how to wash clothes.
Now, is that called soft skills? Is that what that is? Okay, because I didn't know.
Soft skills training, and helping prepare them for a job. Really trying to see what skill sets do they have.
So, Lenora, about the Bridges to Success, that only includes autism, though. I wanted to ask you that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's only autism.
Okay. So, so it's continuing on now with the pandemic, and it's probably even more viable in the pandemic, I assume.
Yes, it is. And you know, so during the pandemic, many challenges. But the disabilities program did reopen. It was probably closed for about 6 months. And it has reopened. The autism program, probably for about 4 months, we were not providing face-to-face services, but we did put in place virtually that we could provide training to parents, you know, while the children were at home, and that was very helpful. But the children have been back. It was probably one of the first programs that ramped up so quickly.
Wow.
They were ready for the children to return, and the children were ready to return.
Oh my goodness. Now I want to talk a little, before we run out of time, about the foster care system. Now, is it 13,000 children in Michigan, or is that your number, 13,000?
In Michigan.
The whole foster care in Michigan, there's 13,000.
There's
We'll talk a little bit about
13.
your role in that, because I know that originally that was one of the biggest things was foster care.
Absolutely. Right? It still is.
It still is.
It still is. So here in the state of Michigan, there are over 13,000 children that are in the foster care system. And so, and probably one of the greatest challenges that we do have is really being able to be able to find foster parents. You know,
I would admit, because not to compare it, but I'm involved with animal organizations.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same kind of thing with
Right.
fostering, because the problem with animals, it's foster fails because you end up keeping the animal. So, you know, I don't know if you guys have that problem or not.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not as much, because it's a bigger commitment with a human. Right?
Yes. So, you know, we're always working
to get the foster
parents. Get the foster parents, and so we not only is it foster care, but we are also an adoption agency, you know, with a grant through the state. And so what we're doing is making sure, because the number one thing with foster care is reunification. So number one is to try to make sure that we can prepare that family, the biological family, and that child to reunite. That's the number one goal.
Oh.
But not in all cases we're successful at doing that, and that's when it leads to maybe a child being adopted.
Oh,
so we're
that's
also,
what it is.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So we're also with foster parents, and a lot of times some of the foster parents ends up wanting to adopt that child if that child is not going to be, you know, placed back with their biological.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of. Now talk about this MedNet one. Are you still doing that?
Yes.
In Rochester Hills.
So their office, so their headquarters is in Rochester Hills, and so going back in 2019, we implemented the integrated care model. So we're behavioral health, you know. So we specialize in being able to treat the mind. That's what we do. Right. So we've got the psychiatrists and the psychologists, and we have all of the professional staff, therapists. But in order to bring in primary health care, because this is what's so important, this is where the world is going now. So bringing in primary health care so that we can also offer primary health care to the people we serve on the behavioral health side.
Oh.
Because there's one true statistics that's still out there. People diagnosed with as being mentally ill, their life expectancy is anywhere between 20 to 25 years less than someone without that diagnosis.
You're kidding.
And majority of the death is not from the mental health or the behavioral health side, it's the medical side that has gone untreated. So now we brought
That's wild, isn't it?
So we treat the body as well.
That's great. Wow. And you had this Eva, is it Eva?
Eva. So the CEO of Medical Network One is Eva Medasushka. Yes.
Maybe I've met her.
She's an outstanding woman. We have developed a great partnership with her being that medical side to bring in now.
Okay.
You know, here's the medical doctors and the nurses that can treat medical needs. And what we've done this past year, we've expanded it, and we have expanded out substance use disorder. So we do medication-assisted treatment. So we have full-blown integrated care in place.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, we're going to have just a few more minutes, one more minute actually, but is there any parting thoughts you want to say to tell our viewers? This has been so interesting.
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, Connie, I just appreciate this opportunity. Anytime I have a chance to talk about Judson Center and the great work that we're doing, it just brings so much joy to my heart. But I would like to say to people that may be watching this is that we thank everyone for the support that they give to nonprofit organizations, and because the need is so great.
Right,
and if anyone would like to learn more about Judson Center, we have a very impressive website, and they can go to www.judsoncenter.org.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lenora, and I'm sure we'll be talking again, and we'll be in touch as always.
Absolutely.
And best of luck.
Thank you so much, Connie.
You're welcome.